Welcome back to the bettors on 8th of February, Monday morning. We have a 9-game NBA slate that we will break down as we do usually. I'm putting up the odds screen as we speak, and we will get right into it. Please like the stream or the podcast, it helps a ton, and subscribe. I will be streaming on every day this week, besides Thursday and Saturday. Those are two 5-game slates. We will skip those, but I will be streaming on all the other days. Please reach out to me on Twitter at the Barrel Zone if you have any comment or feedback, or just leave a comment on the video under the video. All right, first game: Charlotte Hornets are hosting the Houston Rockets. Game is off the board. The Hornets did play last night. They blew out the Wizards. Everyone played 30 minutes or less. It was a home game, so this is just a home back-to-back for the Hornets. Nobody played high minutes, so we shouldn't be downgrading them that much. Graham is day-to-day. He didn't play last night, but he might play today. So yeah, the injury report needs to be checked here. Obviously, he is moving the line a bit, like a half point, a point, depending on how you rate them. For Houston, Christian Wood will be out. He is their most efficient offensive player, averaging 127 points per 100 possessions, 22 points and 10 rebounds. Obviously, Wood out is a huge hit for Houston. So yeah, overall, I'm pretty close to the line what we see on softbooks. That is Houston minus 1.5. But I'm not sure I will be touching this game, to be honest. To me, Houston is really a team I cannot figure out yet. They face one of the easiest schedule of opposing offenses, the second easiest. They rate as the top defense in the league right now through the last 2 weeks, and the third best defense in the whole league through the whole season. Offensively, it's just weak. They are like bottom 5 to 10, but the defense is playing well. But again, you have to question the results based on the easy schedule they have been facing. Overall, the Hornets, I rank them around 20th on both sides of the ball. Offense has been better recently. We've seen it last night against the Wizards. Through the last 2 weeks, they are the 12th best offense. I think we will see progress on the season-long numbers as well. I think they are like a league average offense right now. They play like it. So yeah, Hornets will have a slight rebounding edge, especially with Wood out. They have the better free throw rate, the better turnover rate. But overall, I like the matchup for Houston when it comes to the on-court stuff. They have a decent defense at the rim. They allow the second lowest field goal percentage from the paint, and the fourth lowest from downtown. And Charlotte is basically either getting to the rim or shooting threes. So I think the Houston defense will be able to limit the good looks for the Hornets. On the other end, Houston similarly, they are getting to the rim or just shooting threes. Hornets allowing the 9th highest field goal percentage from the paint, and they are just a league average 3-point defense. So basically, what we expect each team to do, this matchup seems better for Houston. Hornets on a back-to-back. I don't really trust them too much, but I don't trust Houston either. I think the line is right. If Graham is in, I would make this Houston -1. If he's out, I would make it Houston -2. 1.5 currently midway line. I think that's fair. No action here from me. Memphis Grizzlies hosting the Toronto Raptors. Raptors laying 2.5 on the road. I'm making this Toronto -2, so slight edge on the Grizzlies, but I think based on what we've seen from them, they are kind of unbackable based on the recent results and inconsistencies. And I would heavily look at Toronto. If this comes back to 2, which I think is a fair price, I would probably lay that for a small bet with the Raptors. OG is out for Toronto, but for Memphis, there are multiple injuries. Brandon Clark will be out. He has been starting recently. Melton is also out. He's a solid rotation guy. And Valanciunas just came back from the COVID list. He played just 24 minutes in the first game back. he didn't look that rough, but I think his minutes will be limited. So yeah, obviously JJJ is still out for Memphis, so they are pretty short-handed right now overall. And the last three games for Memphis have been terrible. They weren't competitive in any of the three games. They played the Pacers, the Rockets, and the Pelicans. They allowed at least a 60% effective field goal percentage for all three teams, and they didn't put up higher effective field goal percentage themselves offensively, higher than 52%. They were allowing through this stretch 123 points per 100 possessions. So yeah, defensively, this is a team that ranks, I think, yeah, the seventh best defense through the season, and they have been a total no-show through the last three games. And we know their offense isn't good, so it's like when it's at its best, it's a league average offense. When it's maybe performing average, it's a bottom 10 offense, and now the defense isn't showing up, guys are injured. I just cannot figure them out, but I would probably still keep on fading them. You have to pay like a half point extra with the Raptors right now. We might see some Memphis action, as if you just go by strictly by the numbers and not looking at the on-court handicap, the Memphis Grizzlies would seem like a good bet, but I don't buy it. So yeah, offensively through the season, Memphis 23rd in points per possession, 25th in effective field goal percentage, dead last in free throw rate. The Raptors are slowly getting better. Offensively, they are now firmly in the top 10 through the whole season. We've seen a couple of good games from them recently offensively. Through the last 2 weeks, they rated as the 8th best offense in the league. I like the matchup for the Raptors here. Obviously, the Grizzlies, I'm always talking about them. They are a pretty bad defense from when it comes to defending three-point shooting. Raptors are putting up the top 10 amount of threes, and the efficiency is also really good. So it's not a great team to have a shitty three-point defense against, and the Memphis Grizzlies just do that. Also, the Raptors are great at defending these mid-range jumpers. The Grizzlies are spamming a super high percentage of their shots is like a mid-range jumper. Toronto allows just a pretty low efficiency on that. So overall, yeah, the Grizzlies face a tougher schedule. They might have a better rebounding if JV is at 100%. But I like what I see from the Raptors. I think they are pretty consistent. On-court matchup looks really good. They have everyone back besides OG. So yeah, I would lean towards the Raptors. Early line movement also on Toronto. This opened Toronto -1 and got bet out to 2.5. No edge here, but it's certainly a team I'm looking at, maybe to grab like a cheap money line if it dips on one of the books. I think you have to follow this game for sure. I don't like what I've seen from Memphis. I was also talking about the flukish wins over the Spurs. They had two blowout W's, their best games by far offensively through the season. But besides those games, they were looking pretty like trash since coming back from the COVID break. Next game, Chicago Bulls hosting the Washington Wizards. I like the Bulls here a bit. Line on softbooks 2.5, heavily juiced, leaning towards 3. But I think you can still find a couple of 2s out there. That I haven't bet it, but that might become a bet. Bulls are pretty short-handed. They don't have Wendell Carter Jr. Otto Porter is out, and now Lowry is also doubtful, and I think he will sit. Obviously, he's a key guy, but I'm always saying that the Bulls are super deep when it comes to this decent to good level NBA talent. They don't have too many superstars. They don't have superstars at all, basically, but they have many good players who can step up, and I'm not downgrading them that much because of these injuries. I think they have the depth to make this work, especially against the Wizards team that is just trash. Washington ranks in the bottom 2 of the league, on both sides of the ball, minus 15 point differential through the last 2 weeks. They will probably score. There are some totals up for this game, and it's nearing 240. both teams are pushing these mid-range shots similarly to Memphis. I was talking about just a minute ago. So Washington has the second highest rate in the league in mid-range shots. Chicago has the fourth, and both teams are in the bottom three when it comes to field goal percentage allowed. So yeah, I think both of these can have success offensively. Bulls will probably have a bit better rebounding, but the Wizards have a decent free throw rate, still pretty decent turnover rate despite having Westbrook, who is one of the worst players in the league when it comes to turnover rate. This is a start of a 3-game homestand for the Bulls. Yeah, overall, even with the injuries, I still have to look at them here or nothing. At 2, I would probably maybe put a small bet on it, but yeah, I'm not running to the window to back them. But to me, clearly, the Wizards are one of the worst teams in the league right now, and the Bulls are still at least like a slightly below average team, but not terrible. San Antonio Spurs hosting the Golden State Warriors. Early line move on Golden State. This opened up a Spurs -1.5. Now we see it basically as a pick'em. Warriors almost favored right now. I was really coming into this one wanting to bet the Spurs, but I didn't so far, and I would need like a solid plus money to make it. My line is Spurs -1.5, so I have a number edge here. I think the Spurs are the right side, but it's a difficult bet to make. They don't have Aldridge, and while he's not like a giant hit, but he would be great in this matchup. Golden State without Looney, Wiseman, Chris, they have multiple questionables when it comes to big man. Basically zero front court. Green will start in center. They will play small ball through the whole game. Aldridge would be nice to have here, but Spurs won't have him. So yeah, Spurs did. I think at home they are looking pretty decent this season. They had those 2 flukish loses against Memphis, but besides that, they beat Boston at home. They beat Denver at home. Overall, I think they play decent, like league average basketball. And yeah, Golden State with the small ball lineups, they have been heavily out rebounded for multiple straight games now. Yeah, too bad that Aldridge won't play here, but I would still expect the Spurs to have the better rebounding here. Golden State is bottom 3 on both sides of the ball, in both in offensive and defensive rebounding. Spurs have the better free throw rate, better turnover rate. Overall, I think they are just a slightly better team here, but when I look at my grades and my ratings, these are super close. And yeah, maybe I would slightly lean towards the Warriors if they would be fully healthy, but they aren't. Yeah. So on-court matchup, I think is decent for the Warriors. Spurs aren't a great defense when it comes to defending three-pointers. Golden State puts them up at a pretty decent efficiency and rate. So yeah, Spurs on a pretty long homestand. I think they had 1 road game in the last 10 games or something like that. So, and they have been looking comfortable at home. They would be the side I'm looking at. I have a small number edge, but I mean, it's super hard to trust this team. I'm always bashing the Warriors as not having anyone who is offensively efficient besides Curry, but that's the same case with the Spurs. It's DeRozan and maybe Mills, and no one else is efficient enough on the offensive end. Sorry. So yeah, slightly in towards the Spurs. If they turn into a home dog, I will play them. This is a doubleheader, so the same matchup plays tomorrow. I think at least one will go to the Spurs, and they will probably out-rebound Golden State in both games. And overall, I like the Spurs. They play decent. They have decent fundamentals. They don't do anything particularly bad. But the offense is just not there. They don't have the firepower, and yeah, it's always difficult to back teams like that. Dallas Mavericks hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't really want to bet this game. I don't really have an interest here. Timberwolves, Karl Anthony Towns still out until he's back. I'm not touching their games. Russell is questionable. He was carrying them while he was playing. He had a couple of better offensive showings, but dude is always injured or out or just don't want to play. Overall, I won't back the Wolves until everyone comes back. Mavs, I mean, they played the second most difficult schedule in the league, but the last few weeks have been terrible. They are grading as the worst defense in the league. They have a minus 10 point differential, minus 9 against the closing spread on average. Yes, they played some tough teams, but overall, you cannot defend this indefinitely by the just by going at this like they face a difficult schedule. Yeah, but they really look like trash right now. This should be a buy low spot, but I really want to back them in a good matchup where they are dogs or something, not laying 8 or 9 points. I just cannot trust the team to do that. Especially as the Wolves have pretty decent 3-point defense. That's good to have against Dallas. Dallas also allowing tons of free throws. Mini is great at throwing them. Wolves are attacking the rim at the sixth highest rate, and Dallas allows a 68% field goal percentage in the paint. There's a second worst in the league. So overall, I think this sets up well for the Wolves. Maybe if they have Russell and the line is like around 9, I think it should be around 8. But if we get like a 9 and Russell is announced in the first injury report, I might look at Minnesota. It's a really tough bet to make. I think Dallas will wake up eventually. They can always blow this team out by 30. They have the talent, way better team overall, but we haven't seen it yet, and I cannot lay points. And this isn't a good matchup. If you look at what's going on the court and what these teams are trying to do, I think Minnesota has a pretty decent matchup here. Obviously, they don't nearly have the talent that Dallas does, and the two best players of their squad might be out. So yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't lay the points with Dallas for sure. Phoenix Suns hosting the Cleveland Cavaliers. This would have been a big spread, but the Suns are on a back-to-back. They played like 38 to 39 minutes on average. Booker, Aiton, Bridges all played 38 plus. So back-to-back with heavy minutes last night. They didn't have Payne and Saric, and Crowder was also out. Injury report will have to be looked at here. Maybe one of those guys is back or something. Since the COVID break, Phoenix offense really a no-show. Overall, they are league average, but since the COVID break, they have been out for like 10 days. They are grading as the 22nd best offense, but defensively, through the season, they grade as the 4th best team, and through the last 2 weeks, 2nd best team. They have a plus 5.8 point differential. And that's mainly because of their defense. They are just 5.3. Sorry. So yeah, they have played a pretty easy schedule recently, like a decently easy schedule. They played the Mavs, the Pelicans, the OKC, Golden State. None of these are like killers. They had two difficult matchups against the Celtics and the Nuggets, but I mean overall it's not a too difficult schedule. But the defense has been amazing. And Cleveland is the worst offense right now in the league, or one of the worst. They are dead last in the league in points per possessions, 4th in effective field goal percentage. Phoenix's offense is at least league average in all of these stats. Overall, I like the matchup for the Suns. Cleveland is allowing the 6th highest field goal percentage on mid-range shots and the 3rd highest on three-pointers. And with Aiton not being amazing, the Suns aren't really attacking the rim. They are just either shooting like mid-range jumpers or three-pointers. And Cleveland is struggling against both, allowing a very high average field goal percentage. Overall, I think the Suns will be able to score here. But my line is closer to 6.5 and 6.5. We see 6.5 and 7s on softbook. So I think this will kind of move towards Cleveland a bit. I mean, obviously this is depending on the injuries, but Suns played heavy minutes. They have multiple rotation guys out. Cleveland is still, they have the better rebounding here, the better free throw rate. So overall, I could make a case probably for either side. but I think the line will be right, so we will see something between 6 and 7, and I wouldn't bet either side there. But yeah, the matchup I think is decent for Phoenix, and this is like overall a way better team at home, and it's like not double digits. So yeah, Cleveland can always flop and just put up like 90 points, and yeah, Suns could just cover this by 30. But yeah, I had to downgrade the Suns because of the injuries and the back to back, and I'm close to this number. I'm not running to lay it, to be honest. But the next matchup is one that I like: Milwaukee Bucks at the Denver Nuggets. Nuggets still pretty hurt. So they haven't been really wholly healthy. They had huge COVID issues. Michael Porter Jr. was out for like 2 weeks. They had injuries, etc. Now Gary Harris is out. His backup Dozier is also out, and Murray is questionable. Murray's status is super key. I will obviously not place a bet unless the line is too good until we know if he plays or not. Denver will have a morning shoot around, so we will know that he's in or out, or we are likely to know pretty soon, maybe in the first injury report. Overall, Denver has been just struggling a bit recently. Defensively, they are ranked 22nd through the last 2 weeks. Offensively, just 10th. They did play a tough schedule. They played the Jets twice, the Suns twice, the Lakers, Heat, Mavs, Kings. So they didn't really have like a free win game, nothing like that. But yeah, we've seen some issues, especially with the injuries. On the other end, Milwaukee faced a pretty easy schedule, but their defense, which I have been bashing through the whole season right now, their defense now ranks as the 6th best defense through the last 2 weeks and the 8th best through the whole season, which is amazing. I went in to check the stats, defensive stats through the whole season. They allow the 8th lowest points per possession, 11th in effective field goal percentage. They allow the single lowest offensive rebounding percentage at 23, and they allow the 3rd lowest rate when it comes to free throws. So yeah, I was a bit surprised. Obviously, the recent schedule helped them a bit. They played like the Cavs twice, Blazers, Hornets, Pelicans, Raptors, not like world-beating offenses by any stretch. But yeah, the defense is looking better, and they still have the number 1 ranked offense. So you will get away with many things if you have the number 1 ranked offense. But if you have a top 10 defense to go by that, overall, I still wouldn't say they have a top 10 defense, but it's close, and everything is trending towards the right direction. Denver, obviously, as I said, not on the best stretch of their season, but they have had many road games, many difficult ones. Still, the defense is 21st in points per possessions allowed and 27th in effective field goal percentage. So like bottom 10 easily, bottom 10-ish overall defense, and they will face the first best team in points per possession, 2nd best in effective field goal percentage, 5th in offensive rebounding. 2 main keys why I really like the Bucks here, maybe 3. So Gary Harris out, obviously a hit. His backup is out. Murray questionable. Even if he plays, he won't be 100%. That's one thing. Second, the rebounding. Bucks allowing the way lowest offensive rebounding in the whole league. Denver, if they don't get the offensive rebounds, they are really screwed. I think if the Bucks can control the boards, this will be a W for them. And the last thing, and I'm always saying this is a super important stat, the Nuggets are allowing the highest field goal percentage in the whole league from the paint. And against Milwaukee, a team that has the highest offensive field goal percentage from the paint, and they get to the rim at an insane rate, like Giannis can get into the paint anytime he wants. They just won't be able to stop him, in my opinion. So yeah, Denver allows a 70% field goal percentage from 4 feet within the rim, and Milwaukee averages a 69%. So yeah, rebounding, fully healthy team, good matchup. My line, on depending on Murray's status, is Milwaukee -2 to -4. We see a -3.5 on soft books mostly. I think Pinnacle will trade around 3, 2.5 to 3. So we will, if you want to back the Bucks like I do, I think you should wait. I think this line is a bit off, and there is some value on the Nuggets on soft books, but I want to bet the other side. I will wait. I think Pinnacle will deal this around 2, 2.5. So yeah, I think Murray is like at least a 2-point player. So line will move like maybe out to Milwaukee -4 if he's out. But even if he's out, I would probably even bet the 4, to be honest. Like it's such a good matchup. The injuries are serious. I like the form from the Bucks. I don't like the form from the Nuggets. Yeah, I think this is a good game to back. If Murray is in, I think Milwaukee will be like a super tiny favorite, and that's another spot where I would back them. Final game on the board, LA Lakers hosting OKC Thunder. Line is -12.5-ish right now. I make it 13. Anthony Davis is questionable. He might sit this one out. This is typically the game that he sits sometimes. So injury report has to be checked. OKC, million minor injuries. They have most of the guys back here. George Hill is still out, but no one is like 100%. They have been super banged up. It's not a team I would want to back. They are the third worst offense in the league in points per possessions, facing the best defense in points per possessions. They are the dead last in the league in offensive rebounding, facing the 9th best defensive rebounding team. Huge mismatch. Any stat you check. OKC faced an easy schedule lately, like they played Minnesota twice, a fully depleted Houston team twice, and still they weren't looking good offensively. They are grading bottom 6 through the last 2 weeks. I don't think they will be able to score. Maybe if AD is out and this moves like to under 10, I would look at the Lakers. If he's in, I think even at 12, it's a small edge. I don't like to play these double-digit games either way, or I would probably just bet the dogs if it would be a good spot. But I mean, OKC isn't in a good spot right now. No bet from me on this game. So summing it up, not a lot of action. I expected way more. Maybe tomorrow we have a slightly more interesting slate. We have the Celtics at the Jazz, Sixers at the Kings, Nets probably laying a pretty big number on the road. But yeah, let's not run there. So summing it up, I like the Raptors at 2. Currently we are at 2.5. Maybe we see Grizzlies money, but the recent form, I wouldn't count on that, to be honest. Market is moving towards the Warriors. I think we are at a point where it has to stop. If the Spurs flip to home dogs, I will have to back them. I don't want to do it. They aren't the team I want to back, but the matchup isn't terrible, and the Warriors aren't a team, especially looking at how banged up and small they are, that should be road favorites. I like the Bulls at 2 a bit. You can grab some 2s right now, but I mean, this will be a shootout. Total is 240. Bulls defense isn't stopping anyone, but still, at least they are at home, rested. Wizards on the road back to back. Yeah, and not a team I want to back right now. And with 240 total, just laying 2 points basically means that you have to pick the winner of the game. I don't think the spread will matter here. Most likely. And my favorite side of the day is the Milwaukee Bucks. I like the matchup. I like everything here. Murray's injury status has to be monitored. We might get news after the shoot around. They hold a morning shoot around in a few hours. So yeah, Bucks for me. If Murray is in, I think they should be 2-point favorites. If he's out, they should be 4-point-ish favorites. Even if I have to play a fair price, I would probably back the Bucks. Yeah, favorite side today. All right, this is it for today. I will be back tomorrow. As I said, we have a pretty decent slate. A lot of great games. I have already handicapped most of the games for tomorrow. Please like the video or the podcast, subscribe, and if you want to grab my plays, you can go to patreon.com/thebarrelzone and join the Discord channel. I will see you guys tomorrow at the same time. Thanks for tuning in.